Blessings, 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 and Grand Rising Levi family. As y'all can see, I'm on the road. Put my thing down. We on the road. I'm about 5 hours from Georgia. ATL, I'm still riding. I had to take a nap. So I'm back up. I took an hour nap, and now we still going. God be the glory. So I wanted to say blessings to you this morning, and I just wanted to ride and talk to the family. Whenever y'all start checking in, please hit the like button. I would love for y'all to, leave your comments, your feelings behind some of the things I say. When I talk, I don't want people to think, because sometimes when I talk, it's like, it feel like I'm shutting everything down for some apparent reason. People be like, and that's not what I want to do. I'm a facts-based person, but I like to have open dialogue. And even if you're coming with your emotions and things like that, sometimes I take it in consideration because I know it's from a factual place of where you're living or a place of misunderstanding. So what I wanted to talk about today basically is a little bit of politics and kind of give you guys my perspective on the red versus blue. Why I don't participate, and what do I see in our future as black people. Now, there is a video that I have on my page. It highlights commentary from an activist, or he is a philosopher and a teacher, an economist from the 80s, and his name is Amos Wilson. So I used to listen to his commentary, and in this particular speech, he talked about not only the psychological impact of being in America, on black America, so basically the European mind being implanted into us, but he also talked about our position and how he basically predicted that there was going to come a time in 2000s that we were going to be obsolete, that our voting power would, in which they basically the Emancipation and Proclamation was forward for certain states to have more power. So that's why they wanted black people to get into voting in some particular states, because it was about power. It really wasn't about our struggle and us being in slavery. It was also about the tone of America. After a while, they wrote this out of history, but there was a lot of uprisings in America. There wasn't just the Black Wall Streets. It was happening all over America. A lot of slaves in America started to pick up the same spirit of what my people in Haiti had, and they got vicious. And what the slaves were doing was murdering like just hundreds of Caucasians, and that has been written out of America. They don't want you to know the uprising that you guys were doing and how successful some of those uprisings were or could have been. So I want y'all to understand the history, that you were not released out of slavery because they just had this, oh, it's wrong, oh, we have to let these people go. It was literally because the uprising we were doing, what you guys were doing, Judah, and the way that America looked in the national eyes, because other countries been barred slavery before America, okay? So I just want you guys to take time to go back and really look into that, instead of just running with the idea that, we were free because they had this epiphany that it was wrong. It's not the truth. So what Amos Wilson talked about, basically, that it was going to be a time that we were going to be obsolete because America was built on migrants. If you don't believe it, it was. Even the original Europeans that came over from England were exile criminals. These were people who were exiled from there and came over here. They dumped these people here. The discovery of America and things like that, don't fall for it. It was the rejects of England that came over here, okay? And it was so funny because I was listening to the, like the recreation of the Bible, the King James Bible, and it talked about these people being exiled and not wanting to be under the King James out there in England, and came over here and still used that same Bible version. And it was one of the biggest, basically the book to choose. So I said to myself, it's different parts of history that we're really missing. Those exiles came here to be away from the tyranny and have freedom of religion and things like that, and came over here, and there were people on this land, which were Native Americans. And you know a little bit about that. We're not going to talk about that. So the history that they gave of America, that these people were so great, they were actually rejects. They were actually criminals. Rapists. Let's get that. Okay. Now, what Amos Wilson basically said, that it was going to be two things that made Black America obsolete at a point, and that was technology and that was migration. And we are living in it right now. Every single American and every single person across the world sees that AI technology can be a help, but they do see AI being so elite that it will eventually bypass our human knowledge. Okay? I need you to start thinking all around, because this is going to impact how you vote. You need to understand how these candidates think and what their actual agendas are. Why am I talking about this? Because if you have certain people pushing certain technologies, that's going to definitely push us out of the market, because we're already at the bottom of the totem pole. If you go into any major company that's not owned by us, you're going to see the majority of other nations there. We are salted in to their society, but people don't believe that. Just because we have a star or two, we have a front person that they put in position to make us believe that we're getting somewhere. That's not the masses of us. Okay, so let's keep our mind open to technology and how that can affect us, and how we have to be very careful. And who is pushing technology, like the Elon Musk, there's the Zuckerberg, when he want to have the metaverse. These people have a strong foot in our government with lobbying, with their money. So their agendas are being pushed through laws, and that is done because they have the funds, they have the capital, and they have the unity. This is why they're able to get their agenda done. In comparison to us, start to think why we cannot get our agenda in the limelight and in the front. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is migration. Now, y'all know that my family migrated, and it is crazy for me to be a first-generation American and to see it's a problem with all of these migrants coming in. I have been saying this passively, saying that this is going to be a problem. America do not understand the psyche of people from other countries. We are here in a bubble. They have us think that other countries are like this, they like this, and when we get there, we learn something different, okay? They brainwash us, even about Africa. Y'all just now realize that Africa is beautiful. The whole continent, all of the different parts of Africa has built up of buildings, beautiful streets, infrastructure is amazing. The houses is amazing. If you ever went to Africa, I have not, but I know people out there that shows these pictures. You can go on YouTube and watch. They even have some programs for you to try to buy houses out there because they have such good raw material and land. Okay. Not only that, we've been have this misconception of what the other countries have, but we have a misconception of what freedom is. And our definition of freedom is very different from their definition of freedom. I explained to you. You remember when I talked about KP and he said eye for eye, things like that. Now, if I was in Haiti, I understand that because this is how we always got down. Because the government was not set up like this. We have government that is broken. We have government that is corrupt. We have things that people just have to take in their hands. But here, this is supposed to be the best country in the whole world. There should not be a need for us to take that type of, retaliatory steps. Okay? But as I explained, people in other countries have a different mentality. They have a different hunger. They went through different things. We're very privileged. Even the poorest person out here in America is more privileged than the poorest person out in Haiti. I'm just going to keep it real. You have an option to be in the shelter. They have tarps. Okay? So the struggle is very different. So let me give you an example. This was what I was afraid of. They have mass migration coming in, and they're going to a lot of our communities across the United States because they know we don't have a foot and they don't listen to us. So we're being flooded with migrants, and these migrants are not only taking resources, or let's say they're providing resources for them much greater than any resources they ever provided for us, but some of them are being very valid. So for example, we talk about gang violence here and the things that go on. And I'm like, yeah, I had to get out of Newark. It was terrible, this, that, and the third. Kids were dying. When you go look up gangs like in Haiti, gangs in Venezuela, they're way more organized and they're way more demonic. A lot of these, and even the gangs in America, you don't know, Bloods and Crips, they worship deities. One is Draco, and one is Ouija. Y'all gotta get deep. So, yes, Draco and Ouija. Y'all need to look this up. Draco is for the Bloods. Ouija is for the Crips. They're worshiping demonic spirits. In these other countries, they're worshiping their own deities, but they're making sacrifices to them. I have watched videos where gangs cut off people's head, murder them for nothing. I mean, literally to rob them, kill. When what happened with Shinquilla, okay, the Cabo 6. Nobody really heard of that. That is a law in a lot of other countries because of the devaluing of women. You can go right now to Dubai and you do something against their law and you're locked the fuck up. So you need to understand the mindset and the standards of these people who are coming over here. They're a little bit more vicious. So i.e., as example, we had Venezuelan migrants come into Newark about 10 years ago. And we had one of the most vicious killings in Newark. Even the gang members was appalled. It was 2 teenagers who literally was killed execution style inside a yard for no reason. They wasn't robbed, there wasn't nothing. Literally, it was like a ritual. This is what they do. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying ours is better, but this is what they do. So what you're seeing now, if you start to look outside of your particular news broadcast and you go international, or you just look around the United States, you have New York, you have Chicago, you have LA, you have, even they're coming to Atlanta. A lot of these urban states that have big cities, these migrants are coming in and the crime is catapulting to the top. It is catapulting. We have them taking over the streets with their mopeds, no license. We have our government not only giving them money, but also giving them the right to actually vote. They're trying to give them the right to vote. Once these migrants have the right to vote, they don't need your vote. They don't need your vote. That's why if you look at what the red side and the blue side is talking about, it has nothing to do with us as the black community. Okay? It has nothing to do with us. There is no agenda set for us. You heard Kamala Harris say specifically, when they asked her, would you have a policy or something set up directly for the black people? She said, no. Why? Just like that. Why would I do that? Any policy that I put up will, even if it was for black people, will benefit everybody. Realize that Kamala Harris is not of the ethnicity of which we call black. She's Indian. Her black Jamaican father, allegedly, we never saw him. The pictures that actually surface is her mother and her sisters and her around with an Indian man. Okay? So all of that she black, I would assume if her father abandoned her and he was black, she ain't happy with that. Okay? So we're going to talk about what each party did, but I need you to really think about the situation that we're in. Not only if most of us as Americans are recovering from that whole situation, but prior to that, the black community has been trying to recover from several situations. We had the 3 strikes, where they locked many of our black men up after flooding our community with the drugs that they bought over from the wars. The poppy seeds was bought over in caskets, allegedly. There were documents, CIA videos and documents that came out that when they were sending these caskets with soldiers, they were filled with drugs. Okay? And they were pushed into our community. Let me give you another example. We don't manufacture this stuff. I'm going to give you a real life example. I talk about this. As a child, I was about 15 years old, out in the streets with my friends. It was about 12 o'clock at night. We chilling, smoking, drinking, acting like a fool in Newark. We going down to the park. And all of a sudden, we see a bunch of dudes run down the street with bags and a whole bunch of guns in their hand. I'm talking about long ass guns. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. Me and my girlfriend like, what the is going on? Me and my best friend like, what the hell? Like, they hauling ass. I mean, book bags and shit. And when we go to the park, this is not a lie. There is a crate that is open that looks like it had a shipment or something. Weeks go by, months go by, our crime level go to the roof. We have guns that they were calling crowd pleasers now. You know, like the old school Bonnie and Clyde, the one that had the circle. They were flushing the old guns and putting it into our neighborhoods. So we went through that, and we're still going through that because they did that. They did a setup, I think not actually drop guns in Chicago, but you remember under Lightfoot, they had that sting where they put these whole bunch of sneakers in a truck and try to set up the young black boys. This ain't no joke, and that was under Lightfoot. Go check that out. No disrespect, but that happened under her. So a lot of the things that has happened in the black community was actually orchestrated. And we continue to strive and get through it. The crack epidemic. And we had after that, we had dope come into our community. Then we had the ecstasy that came and took over. And that was around the time that I was going into like 18, 19. It didn't hit as bad because my generation was not beat as much as our older generation for drugs. So the ecstasy and things like that kind of wore off. But there were always like tidal waves of things coming into our community that we have no control over. So these are the things you need to think about. How do these things happen? Who is involved in shipment and production in America? In Newark, we have a port. So we are the port for the East Coast. And I know, by talking to longshoremen that worked out there, that there was illegal substances coming in from that port and being flooded into our community and distributed out. Okay? So, we had those situations, still striving, no real plan for us, or money's actually put into our communities for years. And we are still to this day, it's like a repeat of our same crime. We have the police brutality. As I mentioned to you, every time just before election, even though it happened throughout the whole year, there is a major killing of someone of our ethnicity that they put out there to pull on our heartstrings, even though we care. But they use that, and then they use it as a political ploy for us to fall for a candidate to barely give us any. They don't give us nothing. They don't say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We're still waiting for the anti-lynching bill. Do you know that? Do you know that? I'm going to verify, because the last time I checked, it still wasn't passed. And even if it was passed, if you paid attention, in the last 3 years, there have been quote unquote mysterious hangings of black people across the United States. I mean, one black African girl was found in her Caucasian friend's house, hanging inside of the garage. The mother and her son is never to be arrested. Remember that story? The other story, where you have another young black man hanging from a playground thing. They said it was suicide, knowing that the boy couldn't hang himself and his shoes was missing. Okay, his shoes were missing. There was other aspects with that. They knew that this young boy did not. So there are things that they're holding over us for tokenism, and that they use every election to say, we're going to pass it, and shit don't get passed. And even if I tell you when it passed, it's actually about the heart of man. But moving forward, now we're going to examine both parties, okay? Because I grew up under a Democrat household. All my grandma talked about was Democrat. She was a migrant. Democrat this. That's all she would talk about. Until what happened in Haiti woke her up. Now, I don't know if you ever heard this story, but this is what woke my grandmother up. Under the time of in the earthquake, you know, was that Clinton? Who was that? The earthquake was Clinton. Yeah, I think it was. I know Clinton was one of the. I know Hillary was one of the liaisons that were coming back and forth into Haiti, and we had a major issue. One, our ambassador that was in charge of diplomatic relationships was replaced. They pushed his ass out because he was not agreeing with the agenda that they were bringing over to help us out of the earthquake. And what ended up happening is that all of the money that you guys donated to help Haiti, that they pulled on your heartstrings, half of it is still sitting in the slush fund right now. Because people had talked about it, won't you release that to Haiti? And they said, why would we do that? Because we don't know what they're going to do with it. What they did with that money was actually paid a lot of U.S. contractors and put contract bids for them. And they created businesses out here, kind of linked it to Haiti. And what we end up getting is no infrastructure built up, but we end up getting Wi-Fi and calling cards to connect us to the internet. They were going to connect the whole world. They're going to connect us all to this grid. So I'm like, what the hell? Why? From when we had the earthquake to now, Haiti has changed. It's more Americanized. Like the younger people, they're on to TikTok. They're on, like my cousin, he looked just like me. Straight down. Like wearing Versace shirts. I was like, where the fuck you get this shit from? Like, you think that they're living, they don't have that kind of Americanized mentality, but it has went over to them. Sorry, my thing fell. So, instead of us having a built up in Haiti, we end up getting internet and Wi-Fi to tell y'all what really happened. Not only that, my grandmother, when I went over there 2 years after the earthquake, there were still tarps all over. People living in tarps. There were no homes built. They showed on some news broadcasts these little mini homes that they were starting to build in Haiti, and it was literally no more than 15 homes. That's what we got. This is what they do to you too. But you don't realize that. They create these programs for America, not only Black America, but Americans, and it goes into foreign hands for foreign relationships, or it goes to American big companies that have these ties, and it never goes down to the little guy. It never gets down to you. That's why I tell my Gentile, my Caucasian brothers, that they look at you just like us. They take y'all research. They probably sprinkle y'all in there, but y'all are known as the degenerates too. You know what they're doing to y'all. So, not only did that happen, and my grandmother started to open her eyes, but what really opened her eyes, and as I mentioned to y'all, what brought the Epstein thing to life was that my grandmother told me specifically that her neighbor grandkids were taken, that they have not seen them since the earthquake. There was a bus that came. It said they were a charity nonprofit from America. I don't know if it was American Red Cross. I'm like, Grandma, what was it? And she can't tell me too much. But she said that the lady let her grandkids go because they didn't have anything. Literally, people houses were, if it wasn't American built, people houses was disintegrated down to literally dust. My grandmother's home was American built. She had beams in her home to keep it up, all stone, a generator. So what ended up happening is that they let a lot of kids go to this orphanage, and then the parents got together and just went to friends' houses who had electricity. My grandmother housed about 5 people in there. So at this place, they were supposed to feed them, keep them in school. They never saw those kids again. They never saw those kids again. But that wasn't only happening in the earthquake. It's been many kids that have been missing from Haiti. And if you know the geographical location of Epstein Island, United States, and Haiti, it's literally a hop and a skip. It's like jump, jump, jump. You gotta stop. You gotta stop at Haiti. You see what I'm saying? So our kids were being stolen. And I'm not saying allegedly, because that's my grandmother's story. And that's what made her say, fuck the Democrats. They damn no good. She changed. They damn no good. They damn devils. I never fucking kill every. Oh, this was my grandma. I said, oh. Even this lady who don't speak fluent English saw what the hell was happening with the Democrat Party. Okay? We just talking about the Democrat Party. Pay attention to a lot of the things that happen with the people in the Democrat Party. There's a lot of people around Hillary that went missing, that died mysteriously. Even the DNC, the last election, the gentleman that was the top of the DNC, you remember, and he mysteriously got killed in the streets, not robbed or anything, and his name was Seth Johnson, and he was going to whistleblow about something that was going on in the DNC. This is how deadly the Democrats are, allegedly, the blue state. Now, I'm not saying all of your representatives are like this, but I'm telling you something is going on that you need to pay attention to. Pay attention. These people are being unalived, okay? So we have this mysterious stuff that goes on in the Democratic era. That's just a little bit. On top of them, right now, in the last 3 years, Biden letting mass immigrants come in, undocumented, don't know if they're criminals, don't know their background, don't know where they're from, and we literally got beef with so many different countries. We got beef with China. You got beef with Russia. You got beef with Iraq. These are the same, Venezuela. Y'all don't know that United States, go do the research. We were involved in a coup in Venezuela that actually broke their economy, that made them get pushed into socialism. And they depended on the government, and the government went broke. And look what they're doing. They're migrating here. They have some of the vicious gangs. They're called the MS-13. Okay? Vicious. I was just listening to O'Shea Duke, where he was talking about a migrant who literally, assaulted 2 or 3 women, raped them, armed them, and took their money. You see what I'm saying? While in the streets, because he has nowhere to go, because they're putting the migrant men out in the streets and allegedly putting the women and children in shelter or homes. Okay, giving them voucher for homes, because it's getting better. Not only are they giving them the right to vote, but they were, oh, you could go look this up. They were looking into, and it's still there, to give them the right to be police. So you're telling me people who came from another country that we possibly destroyed their country, and they look at us like we're privileged, and a lot of us are naive, living in all everything is perfect, America is the best. Do you think that these people, some of them, a few of them, not plotting and planning? There is a mass amount of Chinese immigrants coming in. I watched something most recently, because I watch everything. I think that was I forgot the name of that show. I watch everything. So basically what they said they end up uncovering was that it was a mass Chinese immigration system, where people were paying thousands of dollars to come through this they were walking and they were traveling and jumping from bus to boat to things, but they had to pay the money. But they had the route of where all of these Chinese people were coming through and everything. Oh, they making it through here. So how are we beefing? Not me and you, we not beefing with them. Our government is beefing with them, and they're coming in. China and Russia right now ganged up together to put their currency together so to survive the tariffs that was put on them off of trade with certain international countries. And you think that hurt Russia? What they end up doing was stop, because they said they wouldn't allow Russia to trade or buy in American money. So it cut them off, because American money is used allegedly right now as the universal currency, because it's held by sword. Do you know what I mean by held by sword? Meaning when they did the gold act, the gold reserve act, where they disconnected the gold from the money in 1934, around that time, and we end up with paper currency. Do you understand that green dollar was just supposed to be a note that you can go to the bank and go get gold? But they separated, and the reason why they separated it was so it could be printed uncontrolled, and they could have this illusion as though that they had the biggest economy. So instead of it being attached to gold, in theory, our money is attached to oil. So if any country wants to buy and sell in oil, they have to do it in American currency, which it calls an exchange. We get money. That's how our money has power. It's held by the sword. It was so bad that under that time, the Gold Exchange Act, Americans lost all their gold. Like it was illegal for Americans to have the God's gold. Think about that. So right now, you have Russia and China that's actually connecting their money and back to a gold reserve to add true value, to correct their economy. Because basically what you see in American economy, think about it, we have 100%. Money is 100%. Let's just say 100% of money. There's only actually 1% of it that's physical paper. 99 or about, it's all digital currency. It's all numbers. It's called fractional reserve banking. So if a good amount of people right now go to the bank in America and try to pull out money, you're going to collapse the system. And you're going to see that this shit is not real. So I need you to really pay attention to where we're at, because economically the power is changing, because we're not going to be able to hold this currency over people's head. Because now that what they did was separate China and Russia and allow them to get together and back their money in gold, you have African nations that support China and Russia. They're doing business with them. They're trying to back their money up with gold. So how do you think as Americans that we're going to stay on top as the greatest country, the biggest and baddest, when you see it, not only economically, we're about to be ripped to shreds, But then we have a mass influx of the migrants from countries that we have destroyed. That's why I say this is biblical. If you read Revelations and you read Obadiah, this is telling the story of right now. Now, just a little bit about Obadiah. Obadiah is the prophecy for the Gentiles, for Europe, for the Caucasians, for the people who are in charge, is for Esau. And in Obadiah, the story in generally is basically that Esau has made covenants with all his enemies just to take down other nations, like your friend of my friend, your enemy of my friend, you know how that means, that we could work together. But, and at the end, these people who they have joined forces with have a different agenda. So, just because me and you have the same enemy doesn't mean that you're going to be on my side when shit hit the fan, or you don't have a plan against me. So in Obadiah, it said specifically that all of the nations that Esau has buddied with to create war and chaos against other nations turn on Esau and flood Esau's land. Please go read or listen to Obadiah. Obadiah. You know what I'm saying? It's like right at the tip of my tongue. I was just saying it. Go look at that, and you're going to see that that's the prophecy we living in. Okay. And also when you listen to Revelations, when they talk about those two nations from the east coming together, it sounds like China and Russia. So we're living in rare times. So now let's move on, where I move into a little bit about the Republicans. Because us as black people never really dealt with the Republicans. I always say they raise because they raise it right in your face. They don't give a fuck. They like, you better get your own. You better do what the fuck you gotta do. They put it right in your face. But it got to a point that we were so disgusted with the Democrats and started to see what they were. And this is what's gonna happen now. That's how Trump got into the office. I believe Trump is gonna get into the office, especially based on this immigrant thing. Because this shit is a fucking problem. But let's put in perspective what happened under Trump. I know a lot of people said they made money. I know I say myself, I had this strong inclination to start businesses, be independent, because a lot of the channels was open. What Trump did was made it easy for business owners, as well as his elite business owners, to do business with loosely. In the last 3 years, well, after around Trump, a little bit after, like he got in until now, not only are we flooded with scams, defaulty contracts, you're not seeing that you have problems with these companies and they're just kind of doing whatever. You're not getting all of these scam calls, people trying to scam you, send you shit. This wasn't happening. I know we're getting better technology, but there were checks and balance systems and laws that stopped some of this. So when Trump came in, he made plans with his buddy to allow them to have more freedom in commerce because they were restricted too much. They had too many rules. He basically made the system like a Georgia system, where, let me give you an example. In Georgia, you can start a business and it's less restricted. You may not need a license. I was helping home health aid organizations, people, and helping them get their basically get their nursing credentials together, and them understanding about training, what do they need to be official. But these people who are owning these home care agencies and labs, they have nothing to do with healthcare. They have no credentials. But I'm gonna give you an example. Years earlier, there were more restrictions on who can open what industries, what type of license they need to have. So compared to Georgia and Jersey, Jersey is very restrictive on businesses. So you can't just open a business unless you have proper license, proper, papers set up and things like that. So what I have seen is what Trump has did was make the whole America basically like a Georgia state, where these businesses can open up and kind of just do what they want to do, which is dangerous for us because they're cheating and robbing us as Americans, doing slick shit, and we're not getting any retribution. Because another thing that ended up happening under Trump is that he defunded the Dodd-Frank Act. These are some of the things that y'all really need to understand. What is the Dodd-Frank Act? The Dodd-Frank Act was put into place to actually stop these predatory contracts, like the mortgage contracts that happened, that put us in the 2008 housing crisis. It was to stop those fractional reserve, what are they called? Basically, they will have a portfolio of about 100 houses and mortgage agreements, and they will sell it on the market, knowing that these people were going to default or whatever, and these companies will have an extra insurance that even though the customers default, they have monies coming in from these investors. So a lot of these portfolios fell through when they were given these predatory loans, and the predatory loans was basically they were given to people who was unqualified to get it, and we didn't have the means to maintain it. So it literally messed up our housing market. Do you understand? So again, we're right back in the same situation. That's why on my other channel, I teach you guys how to read contract. I teach you guys how to get in contact with the Consumer Protection Bureau. This Consumer Protection Bureau is literally almost obsolete right now. It's so sad to say. I make complaints about business, and the only thing they can do is be mediators. Before, the Consumer Protection Bureau and the Better Business Bureau too had funding to help us as citizens go against these big corporations if they did bad things to us, because they know a lot of us could not sue them or pursue them. But under Trump, they were defunded. Now, I know that he gave college money to the black colleges because there were never a set of monies going to black colleges on none of the Democrats. But y'all kept voting for them. So Trump threw that token out to us, and that was good. Be like, oh shit, we got almost indefinite funding for black colleges. Okay. And then another thing, let me see what else Trump threw out. He did that for us, and then allegedly people thought that we won when he was releasing federal prisoners and giving them pardon. Those were federal. Some I don't know. I know a few people. I don't know, because there's this content creator out here in Atlanta. She weird as hell. I'm not even talking about her name, but he released her out of jail, and she was trying to be like something out here. Y'all know who I'm talking about. She be on the internet right now with all these. If my service keep messing up, I have to, end this live. But he released a lot of big bad people that were connected to big drug ties, if you paid attention. Not only did that happen under Trump, but as I mentioned, the Ovid andates, I can't say it, the Ovid andates happened under Trump. Even though he pretended like he did not support the states who made it mandatory, and that they had an option and all this stuff. Fucci was under him. Even though they hated each other, I believe that shit was a setup, because most of people were tricked and forced to I'm trying to turn my hotspot on. Let's cross fingers, because I want to finish this up. It's sad to say I'm more pessimistic. I'm optimistic. Like, when it comes to optimistic and pessimistic, I got 60% optimistic and 40% pessimistic. I look at what could happen. What is the bad things that could happen, how we could fix it, and how we could prevent it. Okay? And that's why I'm able to look at it a little different than other people, instead of just looking at the sloganary and looking at the face and being in the gang mentality. What have they really done for us lately? So to close off, I'm going to close off because my service is messed up. My main thing is not to make you feel like we have no damn hope. Oh my God, it's both. It really is. But we need representation. Representation starts with you. Now, there's people who say, get into the government and make it happen. I truly do believe that. But every time someone gets into the government and they get a little bit of green and they sign these contracts, their whole agenda change. So how is that effective? I'm just being honest. There are few that actually got shit done for us. Sharp James has been coming out for how many years? And we didn't even get the anti-lynching bill pushed with his ass. He's nothing but someone who comes to soothe and codify Black America. These are the people that I call the boule. And these are the people we supposed to respect. And then you say something about that, you got black people getting mad, but it is the truth. Nothing is really happening. So basically, in conclusion, what I felt was something that we overlooked and we actually attacked our own brother for the last election was the plan for Black America. We let the other nations in the politics blind us from seeing that Ice Cube and other people he was working with, because it wasn't just him, came up with a comprehensive plan that was allegedly good enough for Trump to look at. And they took that and said, oh, he's a Republican, he's trying to work with Trump. When Ice Cube came and told you guys, no, this plan is for Black America. I want Biden, I want, Democrats and Republicans to look at this. But when I went to talk to the Democrats, he said specifically that they said, we'll talk to you about that after we get in the White House. Go listen to what Ice Cube said. And it was not him trying to be a Republican. He was trying to put a plan for Black America out there so we can have an agenda. So now it is July. How many months from this election and nobody's talking about an agenda for us? What is the agenda for us, babes? Could you tell me in the comments, okay, if you're Republican, you're red, yeah, what is the agenda for us? Yes, we need an agenda. They even have an agenda for Chinese people. They will make bills for them because they try to lie and say that we want after Chinese people when Trump was in. Ain't nobody think about them. They even made a bill for their asses. What about us? So my thing is, don't you think that it would be more effective if we come together as a community and collectively put our votes together and say, everybody, we're going to have to come to one accord. We're going to have to come up with 100 demands, let's say 50 demands, that we're going to present to both sides the same way Ice Cube did. And without them acknowledging it or coming up with a plan or actually trying to implement what we need, we're not going to participate. Now, would that work this election? I'm going to be real. If they let the migrants vote, that's not going to work, because they're not going to give a fuck about our vote. Because even the white people seeing that the migrants came in to replace the population, but we don't see it. And we're at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't give a damn what you say. I don't care how nice your car is, how cute your clothes is, how much vacations you could go on Black America. You still broke. You're still living a facade of a life. There are people making hundreds of thousands of dollars, way more. You never even touched the money that your white counterpart is touching. I went on a contract in Jersey, and there was a tech there. She was a tech, a nurse's tech. And I'm a registered travel nurse. When I heard how she lived, I said, oh shit, bitch, I'm broke. She's just a tech. She had long money. I mean, she talked about her acres, her farm, how many horses she had. She was going on horseback riding. She had to clean her horses. She got this, she got eggs, she got chickens. They be going canoeing. And she's a tech. And I know I make a little money there. I said, what the She's living a life. She don't even have to be here. They have long money that we don't have. They have a generational wealth that we don't have. And y'all are pretending that you're on an even playing field with them, and you're not, baby. We're not, no matter what. And when it comes to reparations, let me just tell you this. I'm not a person against reparations, because even us as Haitians, we deserve American reparations, because when y'all was in war, it was Haitian soldiers that came over and fought and helped kick ass. Go look at your history in World War I. It was fucking us. I think it was World War II. 1 or 2. It was us that came and helped. So when people be like, the Black American, like, no, you don't understand. That's foreigners don't. These black foreigners are not like us, and they don't need us. You know, we separate. That's what they want to keep us doing. That's why Grace Levi is here, to educate you, to let you know me and you are the same people. We like, my uncle, my father is y'all uncle. My father, my great grandfather is y'all great uncle. The Levi tribe is uncle to Judah. Biblically. There were brothers. Okay? There's 12 tribes. These tribes got split. I think two of them got wiped out because of what they did. They did some fucked up shit in the Bible. They were doing sodomy and everything. And every time we come into a nation and we participate with them, this is why we're punished as black people, because we intertwine ourselves into these nations and want to be with them, and we don't worship the God of Isaiah and Jacob in the Bible. These white people actually worship those gods. They actually worship the God of Isaiah and Jacob. That's the creator of all. And Jesus fall under that covenant. That's why they get blessed. I wonder, I did a video, I said, why white people are so blessed and they so wicked? Not all of y'all, you know what I'm talking about. And it's because they repent, they go back, and not saying that they forgiven and they're not going to go to hell and they don't have to go through what they go through, but they are connected to Jesus Christ. And we are not. And that's actually our bloodline. So not only spiritually are we disconnected, financially we disconnected, economically we disconnected. We're not connected to no land. And then in you know what I was telling you about not having representation is not only because of these situations, it's because we don't know our nationality. When that Chinese cop killed that lady, that white lady, you remember? He had Chinese nationals coming in to help him with his case. They still found him guilty, but I promise you, he didn't get the penalty that he would have got if he was black, because he had representation from his nation coming in to help him, diplomats. We don't have none of that. Black America, you don't have that. Even me, I don't have it in Haiti. We got our little diplomats. They still over there. They not coming over to get us. They're like, bitch, you left, you done. America better, whatever. So I'm with y'all. We don't have a diplomat that come over and we get locked the fuck up. We get locked up. We treat it just like y'all. But do you see the importance of representation and what representation actually is? Representation is not us going out there screaming and yelling and just doing this. Representation is actually having our foot in United Nations, acknowledging us as a nation and people, seeing that it is a continuous of genocide that is going on. It is a genocide that's going on with us. It's not just because they're killing us like, you know, the Trayvon Martins and things, but everything I explained to you is a form of genocide. Because they want us extinct. The only reason why we're not extinct is because of the grace of God. The crack epidemic, we survived that. They're getting their penalty right now with the heroin. We in the background like, look at that shit. God done got y'all. Y'all got a different approach for that. Y'all want to give them more needles, clean needles, get all this shit. Us, we were going to jail, under the jail. So they're getting their karma. They're going to get out their karma. And that is the last thing I want to say. What are you going to do? Because, okay, if you do something, don't you think you get your karma? You know it. You know it. So all of the things that I talked about America have done to other nations, and we didn't really see our karma. Because even when they talked about 9/11, allegedly, they tried to say it was a setup from us just to get into war with people. So I don't think we ever really got touched by other nations at home. But I do think something is happening now, because you didn't notice that. You remember the Palestine train crash in Idaho or whatever, Ohio, Palestine, and that was actually caused. They did that on purpose. It was news broadcast that said they did that on purpose, allegedly. But how do we not know that that wasn't an attack? What about the boat going into the bridge? How do we not know that that was not a cyber attack? They still didn't explain these things to us. There was a bomb that went off in New York, and I caught the broadcast about it, and I made it. You know, that's when nobody was really following me, but it's cool. It's part of my trending topics. And it was a bomb in New York last year, and that didn't make international news. And nobody talked about being possibly terrorist attack or anything. So I think that we have to be a little bit more vigilant on our approach and our perspective. This talk is not only for Black America, but it is for the lower income white America, because, well, you know, Gentiles, because they look at you like us. You know it. You end up right in our neighborhoods, going through exactly what we go through. Okay? So if we could look at this a little bit more different and maybe move a little bit more faster, because the election is coming up. We have no representation for real. Not at all. You can't tell me we do it. If we do, please tell me how Harris is representing us or how Trump is representing us. Because that whole Trump 2025 plan, it has nothing to do with us. It's literally taking over the country, fucking up the school system. Both of them want to take over the school system, the educational system. They want to indoctrinate us into their belief only. And if we do not go by them, we're going to be locked out. And both in the Project 2025 and Trump, it's called Trump, what is it, 42 or something like that? Both of the plans seem like it's a plan to change the psyche and the history of America. Trump want to make his own history. I told you, he gonna have like a YouTube type thing, and he gonna give diplomas out to people. It's gonna be different. He gonna defund colleges. This is the shit Trump is talking about. Do y'all understand that? Like and then you have the 2025 that is trying to be too conservative, even though I agree with conservative things, such as, you know, the LGBT thing shouldn't be taught in school. You should not be teaching kids sexualism. Why the hell are they 5, 6 years old and y'all teaching about masturbation and shit like that? Hell no. Also, the writing out when they talk about this critical race theory, never heard it in my damn life. Literally, it's history. You're mad because we won't allow you to call us indentured servants, and we were not. We were slaves brought over here. My people, my uncle people. You see what I'm saying? So with the Agenda 2025, they want to rewrite history. They want to control every single branch of the government, and every single branch of that government will be basically examined, tested, and put in under scrutiny to follow the commander. When you hear this, is the chief in command. Everything has to go with the agenda of the president, not the wants and the need of our system in the economy. It says nothing like that in the Agenda 2025. I'm only on chapter 4, but I'm not hearing it yet. I'll be sharing chapter 3 and 4 with you this week. If y'all interested, I'll upload it to Rumble. I'm doing one chapter at a time. I don't think we're in a good position, no way, no how. There is a major wealth gap between the rich and the poor, and literally it looks like we're going to be living in Hunger Games. Weird. Just think about it. And now I'm not saying all of this is like we don't have any hope, because at the end of the book, as I put at the bottom of my video, God people wins. We win, but you're going to have to be ready to have endurance. You're going to have to be ready to be united with people who have skills, people who are able to pull together and start community, start to grow your own thing. You already know in America, if we talk about the food, we the only country that allow Bill Gates to flood our damn supermarkets with his bullshit. Everywhere else, it is illegal for GMO food. It's even, I think I heard in some European countries, the chocolate that we eat, like Hershey's, Reese's, they like, what the fuck is that? That's not real chocolate. That's poison. Yes, I was watching this and they were doing taste tests with these people from Europe. And I'm like, that's a Hershey and chocolate. Why the hell are they saying this is not chocolate? It's fake. This is disgusting. Because we are being fed, I think, biohazardous food. I think food that has no substance to it. Food that has no nutritional value to it. That's why we are obese, we are sick, has the highest rate of heart disease, diabetes. Where do it come from? It comes from us acquiescing to the system. Us just wanting convenience. Your convenience is going to be the death for you. It's going to be the death of people. So, I guess I've been on for a while. They let my service go on, which is God is good. I hope, you know, some of this you were able to relate to, not relate to. If you don't, it's okay. Put your comments at the bottom. Tell me where you felt like I was wrong. Go more into where you think like maybe I was right and you know a little bit more. I need to open a conversation, because this right here, this Democrat Republican thing, and people coming under my thing like red, 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 blue, 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 it's never going to work over here with me. It's never. That's why I'm very skeptical of people, because they have gang mentality. God said you almost done. I don't know why my thing keep falling. This damn. Hold on, babes. Where am I? I'm in Memphis, y'all. Knoxville. I'm close. Ah, I hate this thing. Don't say that. I'm gonna get it to work. Okay, let me get my ass off. I'm about to get off in a second because I'm getting into some traffic too, and somebody just cut in front of me short. Oh, stupid old lady. So basically, at the end of the day, I don't want y'all guys to think that things are hopeless. It's really not. Because you're gonna have to have endurance, you're gonna have to have a plan, you're gonna have to have family, you have to have unity, and you're gonna have to be mature. We are the most immature people in the fucking world. We babies. All we like is entertainment, fun. Everybody wanna be on vacation, everybody wanna watch TV. We are at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to education and things like that. I'm gonna be honest. In our perspective, compared to other people in other nations, we have to do better. We have to do better. We have our leaders that are literally toxic as fuck. They will unalive you. Physically, mentally, economically, if you don't agree with them. Because they are on a dog chain from their prospective gangs. Democrat Republic. So, I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys so we could think a little bit more. That's my political corner talk today. I'm about 4 hours from Georgia. I'm still trucking. God be the glory. Thank you for the people who have been praying for my safe return back to Atlanta. Thank you, Levi family. Thank you all the people that I met in Dalton that consider themselves part of the Levi family, that gets something from my broadcast, substance, growth, some critical thinking. That's all I want you to do. That's why I told you I don't know if I'm a content creator because that's not what I'm on. And I'm not totally an activist. I can't say that. But in due time will be defined, but we're going to keep on having these conversations because I need you guys to think before our ass be drowned. We're going to be drowned. It's only going to be a few that make it out. It's not going to be a joke. Every nation, and that's what I was saying to my people. I said every nation that was a great nation like Egypt, Roman Empire, Greek, go look how they fell. Go look how they fell, why they fell. The same path that we're going in America is the same how they fell. One, sodomy. A culture of sodomy. Uncontrolled bestiality. Everybody living like what's going on now. Money system. The money system. Not being controlled. Literally bankrupting. Go look into Egypt, Rome, and all. Look how they fell. Tyrannical government. Most of the population poor. And in a lot of those times, they used to keep the people entertained with games, shows, and things like that to keep the people at bay. Go look it up. We're going down the same path. Every great, empire in our past has been destroyed. How can that not happen with America? We too great? We too great? If you say so. So it is what it is. I love you guys. I'll let y'all know when I get back to Georgia. Please check out Michi X page. I put it in the community page where she was at the Sonia Macy visual. Actually, it looked like it happened on the 27th too. What a coincidence. You see what I'm saying? So she was there, her and her team. She's an activist. I don't know Michi at all, but I've been following her for a while, and I fucks with her. She is a hell raiser. She's a fucking hell raiser. Now, I don't mean that I agree with everything she say, but she's the realest. Out of all these content creators who were saying they the conscious community, all this stuff, I've been watching them. They all trash. They all sellouts. They all trash. They all confused. They leading people down to the pits of hell, talking about the African movement, or these people from Africa, and this person is this, and I'm a Native American. I was talking to somebody too. I'm not trying to discredit black people who call themselves Native Americans, because you may have been mixed in with the Native Americans. But if you are considered to be connected to the slave trade, and you think that you were part of that, that means that you were a slave even to the Native Americans until the time of the Walk of Tears, the Trail of Tears. When they did the Trail of Tears and they stole the Native American land and made them walk through the snow, the rain, we were their slaves. We were their slave. Go do some research. And when they got to their destination and realized that they were fucked up and that we were warriors, they mixed with us. That's how we got mixed in with the Native Americans. I'm talking about the biblical bloodline of God. There was a certain group of people that were actually exiled and put onto ships. And that was the tribes who considered them descendants of God. When you look at the slave ships and you go look at the names, those names have Yah in it. Have Yah in it, because we all incorporated God names into us. They changed our names when we got here. Please go look at it. So the Black Americans who think that you are different from the Caribbeans, I'm explaining to you that my father, my great-grandfather was your uncle. Levi was your uncle. Judah was my uncle. Y'all have a special gift. We all have a special gift. As I told you, when like me being so into the Bible and things like that, and religious and understanding the spiritual warfare, it came from my bloodline. Levi. We were the original tribe that were the messengers between God and our tribe before Moses. And we lost that because we were stupid. We did some fuck shit. We were doing stupid shit too. Okay? We lost that. But I'm just telling you, it's a lot of our ancestors, a lot of our history inside of us you don't know. And Judah, they use your voice. They use your singing. They use your strength of words. And they use it against you. They manipulate you. And you manipulate each other. That's why you can listen to someone like RN and LNC and be entertained. And they can take a situation and manipulate it into a whole nother perspective. And you actually look at it like, okay, because we got that gift. And they are using our gift against us. Just remember, God's people cannot be cursed unless we curse ourselves. And that's biblical. We're cursing ourselves. So I love you. Let me get off of this damn Hoover lane before I get my ass in trouble. And I will speak to you guys later. Have a blessed Monday.